All right, we'll do that. All right, welcome to class number 2. What do we think? We just watched a film, short film, not made here at Gav, but what did we think?
It was a lot.
It was a lot?
That was a lot all at once, yeah.
Pretty creative.
Pretty creative.
I like that there was no dialogue. I think that.
There we go. That's a good thing to note. There was no dialogue, right? It was all told without saying a single word. What else? What else did we notice? Yeah. Yeah, that's a great point. Even though there wasn't dialogue, we were able to get through the acting. Even an actor that was covered in complete costume, we were able to understand the story just by without dialogue. We spoke about framing. Yeah, we're going to talk about framing today, but the shots are properly framed. That's just not silent film, but it's all film. How we compose our shots is really important and does influence our storytelling. If we put someone in, we'll talk about it later, but if we put someone in a certain frame or a certain angle, it can imply things to the audience. I have watched the movie and within 5 minutes been like, oh, that's the villain and it's a secret villain just because of the angles that the filmmaker chose to show this one character in versus the other, because it's like, this is kind of a sinister framing or perspective that we can put in. So there's ways to tip off your audience as well. Anything else you want to say? Well, we usually start by watching something at the beginning of class, and I like to show a bunch of cool shorts. Anything else notable, or you want to say? Yeah.
I thought it was really cool how like the audio is used to convey the character's emotions. So you see like you get to convey that it's supposed to be sad, like when the pinata girl was walking away because of how the audio selection was done.
The music really helps tell the story too. Happy, sad, melodramatic, melancholy, right? I mean, do we get what the story? Also, what's fun about filmmaking is it's an art, and the story is open for interpretation, and there's a deeper meaning in most film, hopefully. How do we feel about the story that this was telling? Kind of abuse. Relationship abuse, right? Pinata is a metaphor. And that's what the filmmaker's intention was, to help spousal abuse or relationship abuse. Was kind of okay, great. Let's get started, and we'll start with we're going to talk about. Right? I don't think anyone's online. All right. Well, welcome back. Thank you, everyone, for joining us again. Most importantly, I want to talk about a couple things off the top. Reminder to everyone. Oh, just clicking on weird stuff now. Okay. Reminder to everyone. Next Monday, there's no class because it's Labor Day. Don't come to Gav. Enjoy your labor. Hopefully you get the day off from work. But that being said, we'll be back on Wednesday. Important to note as well, if you're sick, you can't be here, I'll record all the lectures and put them up. And even more important, today we're going to lecture, you'll go into lab, we're going to film something. And then those of you in the editing class will join me in the computer room where we'll do the first editing lecture as well. Both are good, and the editors are responsible for the first project that we're going to talk about as well. Question? Just thumbs up. Okay. Yeah, that's great. Any questions or comments so far? Feel free to shout them out if so. Okay, we're going to talk about the roles of film production. Some of us may know this already, but what is the line? When we talk about the line, you know the line? Other classes, you know the line? Huh? Billy? That's one element of it. So there's above and below the line. Those are our jobs are categorized into two different areas: above the line and below the line. And above the line really refers to billing is one element. If you're above the line, you're salaried. You have your pay already contracted out. You know how much you're going to get paid the whole time. Below the line, you tend to be hourly or contracted in for a certain amount of work. Also, notably, above the line tends to have more of the creative inputs into the project. Now, not that there isn't creative input, but above and below. So who can tell me, let's go through, we're gonna think about the line, but I wanna know what roles you know about a film set. Can someone raise their hand and tell me one of the jobs on a film set? Nico, the director. The director, okay, and do you know what the director does? Cast and crew and actors. The director's primary role is working with the actors on the set. Now, the director is most of the time the de facto leader of the film. Sometimes that's not the case. The producer could be the leader. We'll talk about that. It's a spoiler for casting on the role. Yeah. Not done talking about director, but great job. Yes, there is an assistant director as well. But directors also can have the creative vision. Here at Gav, our directors are usually the writer and usually in charge of coming up with the shot list, working with the cinematographer. And on set are the ones who sit there, watch every take, and then give notes to the actors to get the proper performance. Great. Anything else I feel like I'm forgetting about directors? Do you think the director is above or below the line? Just based off of what I said. Oh, great. All right. Let's put the director there. All right. Noah shouted out the assistant director. What's the assistant director do? Yeah, so the director is the boss of the movie, basically. But really, on set, the assistant director is the boss. The assistant director is the one who will tell the director, hey, we're off schedule. You need to cut shots, or we're not going to make our day, which means we only have 8 hours to shoot this film, and we're in this location, and we have to move, right? We only can film in this location for an hour, and you have 25 shots. Let's cut it down. The assistant director is the person who is basically telling the crew members, we need to get this done by this done, and working with the director saying and making sure the schedule is in place. And the assistant director really is in charge of letting all the crew members know what they need to be doing to plan. And in charge of lunch and break. Where would you put the assistant director? Above or below? They're below. Below the line, the assistant director. Even though they're in charge of the schedule and stuff, they're not really in charge of creative. It's not like the assistant directors get to. So on some sets, the assistant director or first AD can direct the extras, but most of the time, the director handles all the acting. So they don't really speak to the actors other than letting them know about the schedule. Okay, who knows another role for a film set?
The composer?
Composer, yeah, okay. So what's the composer do?
Creates the score for the film.
Yeah, creates a score, will make the music, usually a post. Let's talk about production too. There's pre-production, production, post-production. Pre-production is things that happen before the movie. So that's planning, writing, casting, all of that fun stuff. Production is what happens on set when you're filming. And then post-production would be things that happen after everything is shot. All the principal footage is shot, then we take it in, and editing. The composer is going to maybe pre-write some music in pre-production, but mostly a post-production thing. Composer like John Williams, who did Star Wars, or any of the many ones that they did. would watch the movie and the orchestra would compose and then the orchestra would come and score the thing. So composer, above or below the line? Forget it. Yeah. Who knows another one? A producer. What's the producer do, Jason?
He's only the most important person. No, it's the business end of getting the director, getting the script, they hire all.
Sure, there are producer is kind of a blanket role. There are multiple types of producers. You ever heard of an executive producer, assistant producer? There is a whole team that, and in our type of, I'll say this a lot, in our type of filmmaking, which is low or no budget, we in low or no budget filmmaking, the producer's job is money, but also helping schedule, helping figure out who's all the roles are going to be. Who's usually the producer of the film that yeah. Grant. Grant owns all the equipment. What? Yeah. Grant owns all the equipment, so he's funding the shoots. Will pay for lunch usually. So that's where low or no budget comes into. Producers are really important because in a Marvel film, the producer is the production company and or the executive producer is in charge of making all the decisions and ultimately hiring the creatives. Where do you think the producer goes on our roles? Above or below? Above. All right. What else? We know any other roles? Yes.
Director of photography.
Okay, director of photography or DP. What does the director of photography do?
It's mostly as far as camera work goes, framing, zoom, lighting, the angles.
Angles. So the director of photography is the person who actually is in charge of the aesthetic of the camera. The director of photography can control the entire camera team, which would include the camera operator, the well, what's another name for DP? Cinematographer. Kind of interchangeable. There can be both on the set. One deals more with like the lighting, but yeah, camera angles, lighting. The director will work with the DP or cinematographer to decide shots, plan shots. But the DP really is in charge of that. Most of the time here on our sets, our DPs are also camera ops as well, because a DP team on a film set, lots of people, and might not even actually touch the camera. Here, no low budget filmmaking, we can do a lot of roles. So, okay, where would you put the director of photography? Oh, yeah, right? Even though it feels, I told you there's some creativity, but it's really, they don't have, it's more, yeah, I don't know why, but it's a below the line. It's almost like, just, I always think of it, it's like the people who have offices and the people who live on the set, right? So DP is more like on the set, in charge of stuff there. So that's kind of the line. But I didn't make it up. Yeah. Actors are casting, are cast. Actors' roles are to act. They're, for the people below the line, they're tools on the set. They're basically another tripod, or they're tools to be used to be on cameras for the people. They're famous actors who get paid the most and help promote the film, right? Where did the actors? For sure, Even though actors, I mean, what's their creative process? They're projecting and acting, right? They have their interpretation of the script. They probably have a least amount to involved in the process of acting. What other roles? Gaffer. Oh, it's not that obscure. What's a gaffer? Carry the equipment.
Set up the stage, set up
Set
lighting,
up-
make
yeah,
sure everything
set
is
up-
connected.
Daniel, what's a gaffer? Got it, dude. Too much. Yeah, lighting specifically helps set up the light, moving the lights. C-stand will be involved, yes. So let's just take a look, because our production department, producer, director, we talked about it, screenwriter writes the things, assistant director is part of the production department, script supervisor is important, continuity. So that's person on the set. Also, what's the nickname for the script supervisor? Scripty, who will be on the script and making sure that the actors say exactly what they want. Continuity. Who knows what continuity is on the film set?
Is it just keeping the film how it like needs to be story-wise from start to finish, or?
Like, oh, she has a ponytail and it's over this shoulder. The next one it's on this shoulder.
Exactly. That's part of Scripty's job too. Is because how films are worked. It's not filmed chronologically either. You might film one shot one day and then 6 months later film exactly the next shot. So you need to know, do the costumes fit? It's important that the script is read the same every single time, because when we're editing, we want the script to be the same. Production design, what's that one? Marty, what's a production design?
They
You've done that.
facilitate that changes for costume parts of
Yeah, it's more like the look and feel of the entire project, right? We want a cohesive feel. A director will work with maybe as the production designer here at Gap, but if you want to do that, it's like, hey, these are our things, these are our colors, this is how it's going to be color graded, this is what all the costumes should look like, and whatnot. And PA is most important, I would say, in the production team. What's a PA?
Personal assistant?
No, not on a film set. Production assistant. And what's the production assistant? Well, the production assistant is the lowest level job you can get in production. Everybody here will be a PA at one point if you want to work in the film industry, and that could be doing anything. It could be getting coffee, it can be standing and guarding the equipment. It can be getting a C-47, stuff like that. All right, we can see our DP right there, camera operator we talked about. There's special operators there, Steadicam, jig, dolly. We'll talk about all those pieces of equipment in there. But first AC, what's the first AC? I mean, we have some first AC here, assistant camera AC. What's the first AC here? Yeah, what do they do? Yeah. Yeah, cleaning the lens, they help do lens swaps and battery swaps, hot swaps like that. It's all stuff that we'll do on our sets. Second AC, most notably, does the slate. And again, it's all helping See, a videographer runs a secondary camera, behind the scenes camera, photographer, lighting department, the gaffer right there. Here's the fun ones. Gaffer, best boy, keep grip. You can see all deal with the lighting department, and all have different roles within the lighting department. Questions or comments about this? Why is it called the best boy? That's what they named it back in the 1900s. So when it started. And it's a different role. It's a union job role as well. All of these jobs on the film set are within unions. Yeah. All right. Our audio department has sound mixer. The sound mixer is mixing the sound on a set. What's the sound mixing? Like you're like. Levels are good. Yeah, we'll know. Hopefully, you don't record too loud, or too quiet. Too quiet means you can't hear it. Too loud is your audio will be overmodulated, which will be so waveform is the visual representation of sound, and if you overmodulate, you peak, and then you lose data, and you can never fix something that's too loud. You can't make something that's too quiet better, as long as you recorded some data. Always better to be under than over with audio. And a boom operator. Well, our boom pole is right there up on the table. You can see it right there. There's a boom pole. The pole holds the microphone, which that microphone right there is called a shotgun microphone. Oh, thank you. There is a boom next to you as well.
Was there?
Yeah. You can see the boom right there, the microphone. The boom op is in charge. Not only will we'll put microphones on our actors, but this gets a non-microphone. Shotgun microphone like that is a directional microphone. So you absolutely have to point it towards the person speaking, or else you won't get good clean audio. It's usually used as backup audio. So that's always something to keep in mind. All right, the art department. There's an art director, prop master, set decorator, and storyboard artist. These are all a different department. Well, I should have been talking about the below for all of these as well. But the art director, design, construction of the set. Prop master is in charge of creating, managing, handling props, which could also include, we see costume designer, but the props are one thing, especially when they blow up someone's head. How many takes, what's good for the prop master is to know, hey, we have 3 fake heads. That means you get 3 takes. Or maybe we have 1 fake head. How many cameras can we put on this 1 fake head? Or we're gonna blow up a car. How many times can you blow up a car? Well, if it's a real car, just once, and make it look good. So maybe put as many cameras on as possible. The set decorator dresser. We'll look at our set here right now. It is pretty much not dressed at all. So that's an undressed set. And what does the set decorator do? Well, first and foremost, we have 3 walls, and we have a pretty decent art collection here on campus, or here in the studio. So the set dresser decorator would change that set. For Devil's Game, Marty turned it into bricks, right? And how'd you make it then? What? It was a bar, right? Like you put bricks, brick wallpaper, was it? Yeah. Basically wallpapered it. We can paint it. We can do whatever. That's going to be up to the set design. Storyboard artists. Now, those are kind of like a pre-production film. We're going to actually draw out the entire movie before the movie actually starts. And that helps the whole production team kind of visualize what is needed. And you can plan your shots accordingly. We can, here. here's some Wall-E storyboards. You can see that and you can see that there's arrows. Like these arrows in the storyboard actually tell us what the camera movement is going to be. So that's going to be a tracking shot that moves right. This one is going to be a zoom in and tilt up. This one with all the arrows around here are actually like going to zoom in onto the frame. So you can see the different framing, especially with like an anime. Hey there. Sorry. You can see that, especially with like an animated film, storyboards are super important when they're going to generate all the images from scratch. With us in our class, really recommend storyboarding. There's other ways to do it if you're not good at drawing, but even stick figures are very helpful. How many of you storyboard or have storyboarded in the past? It's good. It's a worthwhile endeavor and can make your job a lot easier on set. Okay, let's see. Storyboard artist, makeup, wardrobe. These are all super important. If you have talents in this, you'll be way valuable to our film program because these are skills I don't have. I don't think I could do hair or makeup. Look at me, I clearly can't do hair or makeup. Or I'm not very good at costumes as well, not my strong suits. But the costume designer makes the decisions on stylistically. This is an Oscar category for a reason. The costume designer, especially with period pieces, have to find period style costumes. We filmed multiple period pieces last semester, including stuff from like the 50s and 40s and 60s, but even like 90s. And we did films that take place in the future, right? Like thousands of years into the future. So the costume designer has to decide what are people looking like 100 years? How many years do we go in the future? Huh? Thousands? Yeah. You did 3 different time periods, right? So different costumes for all 3 different, right? Each one was like another 1,000 or something. Yeah. So yeah, what are the future humans wearing? 10,000 years in the future, 100,000 years in the future. Makeup artist. Again, makeup, making your person look good, but also like special effects stand up would be a head wound, blood. We're definitely going to have some blood in our classes, so we look forward to that. Stylist, special effects makeup, you can see that. All right, almost done. Explosives. We have had some some explosives. That's stuff we can do. So our special effects coordinator. Yeah, those are really important. Those of us who know VFX definitely know how important it is to plan for something in post-production than in future production. So special effects on the set, you're actually going to have a practical effect. And what does that mean? That means, hey, this person's head's going to explode. We're going to use a prop and make the head explode. That's a practical effect on set. But if we do that in post, your special effects coordinator is going to be like, okay, we need to shoot this, then we'll move that out. Then we need to shoot this so that we can put it in post-production and make it look as realistic and as good as possible. Some of the worst looking things you can capture on film is when you don't plan enough. You have to like, oh, we'll fix it in post. And then fixing it in post for a VFX artist could mean hundreds of hours of your life and hundreds of hours of your computer's life trying to make something look as good as possible. Jason left the room because he was too upset by that. But Jason is Jason in our class is a big VFX artist. Stunt coordinator. This would be someone who's planning the stunts. Stunt coordinator is really important for fight scenes, for stunts as well, right? No, won the Gabby for stunt coordination, which is important because Noah will take a bump, will fall over. And those are all, that's a stunt. Just falling over is something that could damage you, especially just think about this. Hey, you need to fall over and land on the ground. Okay, that sounds okay. But if you have to do that like 5, 10 times in a row, that's actual physically harm. You had some bruises, right? What shoot gave you bruises? Right, Heart's cadaver, yep. 8 times. Was it worth it for the final shot?
I think so.
Yeah.
The answer, yes, I don't know, but I think so.
Yeah. It's one of those things too, where it's like, oh, we're gonna plan this stunt. You better use the stunt in your final piece, right? I mean, that's one of those things too. We'll talk about it in editing. We got to play dialogue sometimes, which means like maybe you spent 5 hours making this one shot, but it doesn't tell the story. So is it worth it? I don't know. Location manager. This is really important, especially if we're shooting on location. So that what does that mean? Location means somewhere that's not in the studio. The studio is like home base, and we can is a location would be the studio, but the studio we pretty much have control over everything. But if we were like, I want to, this is the #1 thing that we encounter a lot for new filmmakers. I'm going to write a scene that takes place in the diner. Oh, cool, diner, huh? How many of you have access to a diner?
By access.
Access, like that they'll let you film in a diner. And what that means is you let a crew of 10 people bring in lights and cameras and interrupt service at a store or a diner. This is what it means being on set. And when I'm encouraging you to write your scripts or pitch your ideas, pitch an idea that you can actually do and actually manage. What does that mean? I feel like what does that mean? That means like if you know someone who has a restaurant and it's a family friend, and you can say like, hey, can we come in when the restaurant's closed and use your restaurant or bar? Then you can write a restaurant or bar, or you will set design our 3 walls here to look like a bar. And or guess what? Here at Gav, let me tell you, when you're planning your movies, we have access to Gav. So we can film in multiple locations here at Gav. And what does that mean? That means that not only do we have the TV studio, but we have we control the TV studio. So we can turn this into anything. It's been a club. We've had a car under an avalanche in the studio. Where else? What else has it been? We filmed. Oh yeah, we did a spaceship, and we have the green screen, right? That's something to consider. But guess what? You want to film something in a classroom? Hey, we can go and rent the classroom. The library, we film in the library all the time. There's a pond. You probably know about the turtle pond, but there's a pond up. There's an old church that we can use on the outside, the gym we have access to. So think of all of those. So definitely we have wilderness that we can film here at Gav. Those are like locations that we have access to. We've had samurai fights and stuff all over campus. But location managers and thinking about your locations are, what do I have access to? Do I want to film? The other thing that we'll have access to is Grant's house, usually. So if you want it to look like a house, otherwise, you have to ask, like, okay, and then can we all? Is it somewhere that we can fit multiple people in? Because we have to put our camera, and we have to put our camera and stuff into it. Okay. Location scout, that's the person who goes through and picks locations. So something like Breaking Bad, right, a TV show, has to plan their locations, and the scout drives around and looks like, hey, And we'll take photos and be like, and let the director or let the designer pick the different locations. And then works to be like, this location costs $1,000 a day, or this location is free, or this location we can be there, but there's dogs barking the whole time, or X, Y, and Z. So that's really important about location scouting. That's job. Craft service, the absolute most important job on the roll. This is the person who's in charge of feeding the crew. And let me just tell you, as low or no budget filmmakers, the worst thing you could do is not feed your crew. Because when we're low and no budget filmmaking, this is where most of the budget should go into, because you're using the access here. Feeding your crew means if you have hungry people, they are going to be likely to make mistakes or be cranky. And what are cranky people likely to do? Leave the set and maybe not come back. And the worst thing you do is make your actors angry. Because on set, it'll stink if somebody quits their job and leaves. That's happened. That does happen. But if your DP quits, you can be like, hey, assistant camera, do you want to be the new DP? Okay, yes. And everybody moves up roles and changes and maybe have one person less. But what happens if you film one day and then the next day the actor doesn't come back? Yeah.
Might take forever.
Okay, are we reshooting? Does something happen magically that makes them change into a different person? You have to decide. You could scrap a whole project if you like make someone mad. That's part of managing the set, part of what the director and the producers are going to be doing on set. Feeding people are really important because it's just the right thing to do. Transportation driver, that, you know, on a big set, it's just the person who manages all the trucks. How to get people. We're going to a location. Everyone needs to know how to get there. The equipment has to get there. The crew members have to get there. The Tom Cruise has to be driven there so that physically all of the pieces are there to be able to film it. That's what it is. Any questions or comments about roles? There's a role for everybody, above the line or below the line. Nope. Okay, great. Feel free to ask questions. We're going to talk about framing. Now, framing, our framing exercise. Is there anybody on Zoom? Whoa. That was pretty cool. Look at this. Okay. Sorry, I left that too much. Oh, it looks like September 14th at the meetings. We have actually 2 weeks. All right, let's talk about the framing. Project number 1. Everybody has to do this one. Your job is to film and edit examples of proper framing, including CU, ECU, MCU, medium, Y, cross-cutting, and establishing shots. Okay, so what does that mean? Well, when we have a camera like this, so when we have a camera like this, and we frame a shot, what I mean by framing is actually yeah, hey, I know you. It's actually how we composite the shot. So I would say filmmaking is like the collection of every art, and that's because we are actually taking the concept of like painting and or photo composition, because everywhere, if you look at a painting, where things are so important to telling the story. And the way that we think about our framing is we think about the rule which is called the thirds. Who knows what the thirds are? Top part, middle part, yeah. Let's think about this image in a grid. And the grid, well, actually, I could probably draw it on. Let's see. It's like the best part. All right. Think of this. They're vertical and horizontal thirds. So let's look at this. So it's a still image, right? So the still image is showing us the law of thirds, or so the thirds, there's horizontal thirds and vertical thirds. Horizontal is sideways, which is also what landscape mode if you think about our phones. And then vertical is portrait mode, right? The portrait would just be this third right here. But essentially, when you're framing a shot, think of these thirds at all times. And where you frame someone is important to not only telling your story, but compositing the shot properly. Now, what's really interesting is, just as humans, where the thirds interact are areas of interest, which is naturally, when we look at an image, our eyes are going to hit one of these areas of interests first and foremost. And share this so people just been looking at Santi the whole time. Oh no, I am sharing this screen. Am I? No. Okay. There we go. Now I'm sharing. It's fine. Okay. So these are the thirds. The areas of interest are right here at points. And notably, the way that our minds work, we tend to look at the thirds in this order: 1, 2, 3, 4. So when you look at the painting, those are kind of the areas that your eye are naturally going to be drawn to. So as a composer of a shot, we can think about where do we want to place it. Now, looking at this shot, we can see that in the upper third and on the left third, we put our subject, and we put them in their back. And composite in the composition, they're kind of on the vertical left third. Also, we can look at the horizon here, which is kind of on the bottom third. And what's interesting is there's not really anything over here. And this is what's called space. Sometimes you're going to composite something and leave nothing there. So the person's eye is actually drawn to the left or right. If you composite a lot of things, your subject's going to be confused where to look. So that's the rule of thirds. So always be thinking when we're framing something. Now let's go back to Santi here. Okay. So now we're going to frame Santi. So using the rule of thirds, how should I frame it? Okay, let's do the framing right here. Okay. How is my composition of this shot?
It's too hard. I'm a little too like my head's
How does that make you feel? So actually, I will ask Santi. Let's here. All right. There you go, Santi. Let's go right there. Okay. All right. So if I composite the shot like this, is this good composition?
No.
Why not?
Too hard.
Too much negative space above his head. And also he's in the center. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, sometimes we can center our subject. When can we center our subject?
Interview, right?
News interviews, right? If Santi's looking into the camera, which is called breaking the fourth wall. There's an imaginary wall between the audience. Or when we look in there, we can frame this. But let me tell you, this is still bad framing. Why? We said too much negative space above his head. What this does is I kind of want to put Santi's eyes on the top third, or the top horizontal third. Even though he's looking into the camera, he can be centered. But watch what happens. Why don't I put him on the lower third here? Make it look short, right? So that is one of the things, is the way that we frame Santi right here really matters. Because what are we saying about Santi? If we frame Santi like this, oh, he's just a little guy. He's short, right? Or we can frame him like this, and we really don't have perspective. You ever notice the thing with, you ever met somebody from TV or movies, and they always seem bigger than they are in real life? Well, that's because it's how it's shot. Well, okay. Dilo, you said shot upward. Well, not only how we composite our shots, but the angle of our shots matter as well. So for Santi, I'm going to lower my shot. Stay right there, Santi. Now I'm shooting up at Santi. I've changed my tripod angle. So now I'm shooting up at Santi. What does this say about him? More power, more of a presence, right? Santi, so as an audience, the camera really is the surrogate for the audience member. So if we're looking up at a character, okay. So if I'm looking up at a character here, so if I'm looking up at my character who's framed, it's putting me in a perspective of someone who's smaller, and because we're all humans and we're all little children at one point, we tend to express, when we look up at someone, it's usually a parental figure or someone important. So, or Andre the Giant. So that means this person if you're framing someone like this at a low angle shooting up, it's tend to be giving them more power and they're looking down on us. Now, guess what's going to be the opposite? Thank you, Santi. All right, Santi, you ready for this? Even though he's properly framed, now we are in the parental or the powerful position. As a camera operator, we're shooting down. So whatever you choose, however you choose to shoot it, is going to influence what your audience feels. Even if you're not like trying to say it, you can affect the storytelling just by the level. So now we are kind of on a neutral level with Santi. We're on eye level, which is neutral, which is
Yeah, that's
the middle one's messed up.
Yeah.
Okay, so neutral kind of allows the audience to judge their thing. Santi could have some power, could have no power, but on this frame, we don't know, it's neutral. So subconsciously, we're not going to be influenced that way. All right, so let's talk about composition. All right, even when we're composing a shot like this, who knows what this type of shot is called?
extreme close-up.
So this is one of the ones that you have to do is an ECU. And in fact, you could even see, will it get focus? Is it manual? Yeah, dude, we don't want to see it.
The shotgun, the double shotgun.
Okay, so this would be an extreme close-up. Is think of an eye. Best way to remember your composition is always go like this. So here, you do this with your fingers. You can make the frame, and then I always like to do an eye. Now, even when we're composing this shot, we're gonna follow the rules. So look, his right eye is on the upper level. The main difference between still photography and painting, then filmmaking, of course, is something's going to continue to move. So as a camera operator, I'm probably not going to lock it down unless I want to, or I'm going to float. And floating means with the camera is I'm going to try to follow his movement so he stays in the shot, right? Even though he's moving, I'm trying to keep the composition. Well, because otherwise, now it's his ear, now it's that. And also, we have a lens on here that has a pretty fine focus. So we're following that as well. In fact, sorry. Okay, so if I turn off the lights, then we won't be able to see. Okay. Okay, so that's the extreme close-up. So now let's do a close-up. Who can guess what's a close-up?
Just the face.
Just the face, right? So again, I'm cutting off his hair, I'm cutting off his hat. Also, because it's a filmmaking, he's not looking into the camera. We only really break the fourth wall intentionally and or if we're doing a news composition. So I'm also framing it where, let's imagine something, if you look back here, you can see that, let's imagine Santi's talking to someone. Yeah, well, let's imagine you're talking to me right here, Santi. Okay. Santi's talking to me, so we're gonna frame it that way. So we see that his face is 3/4, we have a close-up. Now, what's important to note, we talked about negative space. When we're framing a subject like this, I'm keeping his eyes on the right hand area of interest, the right hand third. Why is that? Because I am giving what's called talk space or node. And basically, the direction that Santi is looking, I'm going to give negative space to, right? And that just inherently allows the viewer to know which direction Santi's talking to. And why is that? Well, because it's natural, it feels good. And then let's say Santi is talking to another person. Let's stand, can you look the other direction now? Okay, so now the other person's looking in that direction. So now when I come back and forth, we understand how it's framed and how they're talking to one another. We'll talk about the crossing the line in a moment, but will you go back to how you were? Okay. So why don't I composite it like this for a close-up? Uncomfortable. Yeah, uncomfortably close, and also like this is what Mr. Robot did, right? They framed all of their things to feel uncomfortable. You can frame it this way, but it just like from an aesthetic, it is a weird aesthetic. Your audience is going to be more confused. Just know about that. But because, so Santi, you're going to look that way. Now be the other person looking that way. So Mr. Robot then would do that. So it feels like they're looking opposite from one another. And then in the true shot, you'll see two people looking at each other. So this is a close-up. So look, extreme close-up is my eye. Close-up's my face. Really chin up. And it can be from here to here. That would be a close-up too. So extreme is like really close onto something. And there. Okay, what's the next shot? MCU. A medium close-up. Now, speaking of anatomy, that would be chest to head. And we can see how I framed it. Santi's essentially, you don't have to do it. We've seen the footage. You can stay right there though. Thank you, Santi. But you can see, and look, his head still manages to be on the line. The eyes still manage to be on the thirds. And we're seeing more of the person. Okay, so ECU is the close-up of the eye. Close-up is the head. MCU, medium close-up, is chest up. Okay? Now we're going to go to a medium shot. What's a medium shot?
waist
waist.
to hip.
Right. There's your medium shot. It's waist or more likely, I always say belly button up. So, that's a good indicator of a medium shot. Again, let's properly frame it. Okay. Another shot I'm going to teach you. You don't have to do. Let's go back. This could be a medium shot too, as well. Waist or belly button up would be medium. Yes. Okay. Cool. Check this shot out. What is this shot called?
Cowboy?
This is called a cowboy shot. Think of a Western. Okay, get ready to draw, something. There you go. So this is essentially ankles up. Ankles up is a cowboy shot, made famous in Westerns. Yeah, shows the full body, it allows more. You can see his head is still on that upper third. His eyes are really important to your character. So that's always a good indicator of where to keep the thirds on. Now, if we go back some more, who knows what this shot's called?
Why?
A wide shot, wide full body. Wide is your entire subject's in the shot. Okay, so now we have a wide or a long shot. Those would be the two establishing shots. Now, can I get more? Santi, go over there, please. Okay, right there. All right, let's frame it. Put Santi up in that framing here. And then what would this be called? Extreme wide shot. Yeah, EWS, ELS, extreme long shot. Basically, it's your subject in a area. Now, I also want you to know who knows what an establishing shot is? It can be a very wide shot. It was the first shot. It can be your first shot. It doesn't have to be your first shot. It sets up the location. So if we were filming today and we recorded, we put together all of Santi's shots, his first project would be done, but he'd need an establishing shot. So what I can do is do an extremely wide shot, and this can be Santi's establishing shot. Look, oh, it's Santi standing in the TV studio. So we know what it is. You ever watch a sitcom or a TV show? Let's think about
The Office.
sure, The Office. What's usually the first shot that you see at The Office? The exterior, right? So an exterior can be your establishing shot too. So for the TV studio, I might go outside and shoot a wide shot of the TV studio and be like, hey, we're in the TV studio. And then the next shot, if we're outside and we go inside, that establishes we're inside. And that could be something that you also can trick your audience. Sometimes it's like, oh, someone's been murdered. And then the very last shot is the White House. And it's like, wow, all that took place in the White House? I wasn't expecting it to be at the White House or with a TV studio or whatever. So those are ways that you can trick your audience and have fun with your establishing shot. That's what establishing shot is. Let's see. I just want to make sure that, okay. So you know what a close-up is? An extreme close-up, a medium close-up, a medium, a wide shot. Cross-cutting and establishing shots. What was we didn't talk about cross-cutting. What's cross-cutting? What is cross-cutting? You raised your hand to ask what cross-cutting was? Okay, I was about to teach you. So cross-cutting is a good example. So it's an editing technique. It's not really a technical shot, but it's the way that we arrange our shots from one thing to another. So cross-cutting could just be in a conversation where we cut to a close-up of Santi, then we cut to a close-up of my face, then we cut back to a shot of Santi. That means we're talking to each other. Or cross-cutting could be, it's a shot of my face, and then it's a shot of somebody else. Oh, where'd your guys' food go? What? There we go. All right. So here's an example. It's a shot of my face, and then it's a shot of like these chips, and then it's a shot of my face again. And what does that tell our audience? That I'm hungry. I want the chips, or I'm hungry, or I'm about to eat the chips. So it's basically the sequence of shots, cross-cutting is going from one to another and back to help tell our audience what to do. Does that make sense? Yes. So by September 14th, you all need to show me that you know what a cross-cutting is, or show me all of the required shots and put them in order. Now, what does that mean? That means you don't, okay, but Tim, I don't know how to edit. That's fine. We're in the editing class. The editors are going to have to edit this. But if you don't know how to edit, the way that you can turn this in, if you have a cell phone, you can shoot everything on your cell phone and use iMovie or an app to put it together. That's easy-ish. Hey, Tim, I don't know how to do that. Fine. Take a picture. Take a picture and put it in order and email me it. This is the easiest project. You should all get the easy 100 points just by showing me you know how to compose your shots, how and what the shots are called. And you can even do cross-cutting by saying like image 1, image 2, image 3. What were you going to say? If you don't have a phone, come early or during lab. You can say, Tim, I don't have a phone. We'll use my phone and take pictures. Or if you don't have a phone, you can draw storyboards.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah, you can draw storyboards of all the shots that show that as well. But
that has to be so hard to do a close-up.
Yeah.
To draw a close-up, that has to be hard.
Yeah, well, and not really, you just draw an eyeball, right?
I'm not good at drawing.
Well, me neither, but it can be stick figure. So if you have a question or comment, I would like you all to upload your things to YouTube if you do a video. Otherwise, email me the answer or submit it online to get credit. Okay? Questions or comments about this?
No, seems pretty fun, but
Okay.
hard.
We are going to end today's lecture for this. We're going to go into lab, which you could do your framing project right now. You could probably do it within 5 minutes and have it done. Or B, we are going to film our first Ftve news. I am sending out a crew to go do what's called person on the street interviews. We're going to go find random students and ask them a series of questions that I wrote to our producer. Noah is going to be our talent on camera and ask questions. I need someone to be a camera operator, and I need all of you are welcome to join this team to go collect interviews, and or if we can't find people, you can be the people being interviewed on it. And this is a good way to get your Ftve credit. We're all going to be working on Ftve throughout the year. But essentially, we're going to ask students, why did you come to Gab? What do you like about Gab? Are you nervous for this semester? Are there any services you'd like to know more about? How could Gab be better in your opinion? Well, definitely. We can, well, you want to be on camera? Okay, so this is a good opportunity to get real world production experience. We have our stick mic, we have an XLR, we have a Sony camera, which is like the one that I'm using, and a tripod. Noah, do you have your team members picked?
Not yet. Not yet.
Not yet?
Not yet.
Well, you're all welcome to join, okay, unless you're editors. Editors, we're gonna head over to the edit bay now, talk about editing. Questions, comments, concerns? Otherwise, this is lab now, so I recommend you could shoot all of your the big thing about your framing exercise too, it doesn't have to be a person, it doesn't even have to be you. You could take a picture of this box and hey, there's the wide shot of the box. Here's a close-up of the box. Here's an extreme close-up. Here's the close-up. Here's the medium. You can use any object. I've had people use cars. I've had people use pets. So there's lots of opportunities to just think of the rules of composition when you're putting this together. Yeah.
So if it's for cross-cutting, that seems kind of hard to do.
Yeah, it's just three pictures. It's like me looking left, another person looking, or stick figure A looking left, stick figure B looking right, and stick figure going. It's basically there and back. You could even just use the first picture again, right? So, make sense? Good. Okay, we're in lab. We're gonna put Noah in charge. And if you want to, or Daniel, you gonna film? Here you go, Daniel.
Just throw him on there.
All right. I have the Sony. Let me give you a card. This is for Gab TV News. Here's my laptop.
Oh, I'm asking. Oh, I got a question.
That's class. We're in lab now, and we're gonna go. I'm gonna move, and you're welcome to join the editing class lecture as soon as we get over there. Yeah, huzzah.
Yeah, it's always done.
Oh, yeah, it's all. Yeah, okay.
Ashton's not here anymore.
We get a new Ashton.
Yeah, he's in he's up north more, right?
No, he'll be going south.
No, I thought he moved to. He's going to Santa Barbara. I thought he was going north to whatever. Berkeley.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
Oh.
If you on the way to the. Yeah.
I could not live in Santa Barbara.
Do
you need an extra person?
I love it.
All right. Where's all the audio stuff?
I don't know. We'll have to
Hey,
ask
Tim.
him.
Tim, where's all the audio stuff? I'll do audio.
Yeah.
Is that all in there?
Oh, yeah. It's in the computer lab, right?
Yeah.
It's gonna be connected directly to the.
Oh, okay.
But
So I don't need to do anything.
no, here you go.
Oh, then there you go. Perfect, Daniel. You guys don't
Just
need
make
me.
sure that
You guys don't need
gonna
me.
go into here, right?
Yeah. I was just gonna do audio for you guys. You guys don't need me.
All right, please and thank you. Get me
No,
some.
the audio's connected to the camera. You guys don't need
Okay,
it.
genuinely,
Have fun. Genuinely.
where we at?
Peace. Peace.
What are you asking?
All right, hold on a
Okay.
second. We're gonna go over.
Okay.
Okay.
Can we take this? Can we take this? Where are we going?